Hello, Internet. I'm Matt.
And I'm Monster Punter.
And this is the Parallax Scrolling Podcast, where we give you our perspective on video games and the news that affects them. Except today, we're not talking news today. We're doing other stuff today. But it's fun stuff today. It's been a bit. It's been a little bit. Things got crazy. And things not only got crazy, they got hot. It's been too hot lately. Like, today's like the first nice day.
Yeah, the heat dome in the Midwest has been a thing.
The heat dome with the humid dome.
Oh, man.
It's nasty.
Biodome. That was an 80s movie, right?
With Pauly Shore.
That was terrible.
I don't know. I never watched it.
I think I saw part of it.
I think that was the last Pauly Shore movie, too. I'm not sure.
That's the last Pauly Shore reference that'll be on the podcast as well.
I don't know. Give me some time later on. But, you know, at least today's episode. So, we've had some time, been able to play a lot of games, surprisingly. And I've completed a bunch. I finally played through Blaster Master Zero, and I really enjoyed that. I even got the true ending, because apparently there's 2 endings you can get. I got the true one. I was really happy about that. Good game.
Blaster Master is old school platforming with some shooting involved as well.
Yes, but Blaster Master Zero really took it to a different... Like, it's still the same game, but it's also not. It's well done. It's very well done. And so, and they actually made 2 sequels. So I'll have to... I have the second one. I don't have the third one yet. I'll have to pick those up. But, yeah. So I went back. I finished Chasm, which is just a Metroidvania, but it's procedurally generated. Finally beat that. I was kind of happy with that. And, yeah. I started up Blue Fire again, which I said is like a Hollow Knight meets Zelda meets Dark Souls type game. It's fun. Haven't finished that one up yet. Got back to Monarch again, and man, they should put some warnings on some of these events that happen in this game. Like, don't play this game around other people. It's like it was a little much, but still.
But you don't. You don't play it around other people.
Not really, but like when they go to get a drink in the middle of the night, and then there's a conversation happening on screen that I'm like, I don't want to have this conversation with anybody. It feels weird, but we have other games we need to talk about that we actually played today. But before we do that, what have you played by yourself?
I've been playing MechWarrior Online and as one of the games.
Yeah.
Something completely different. I know I've said it for the last few weeks or times we've done this. But
you needed the time, so.
Yeah, I played RPGs for a year and a half, 2 almost straight, and I'm just in the mood to play something different at the moment. So I stopped playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There's just too much to do in that game right now. I need a break.
Okay.
I'm in Gongaga, if anybody wants to know. So I'm in Gongaga. That's where I'm going to stop for now. I just got to the town there, which name I can't remember off the top of my head.
Gongagaville.
It's definitely not that.
It should be. It really should be. Gongagaville.
But I've started playing Unicorn Overlord, and honestly, it's a beautiful game, as expected from Vanillaware. Yeah. The gameplay is... You know, when I first saw the gameplay and I learned that you couldn't control the individual characters in your party, I was like, that kind of sucks. Why would I play that? And you have to approach it, for me at least, what made me appreciate it and actually want to play it more is you kind of have to, you fill out your team as if it's an individual unit, and you're kind of like a commander commanding everybody around. It's like an RTS in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And you can, it's a lot like the jobs, I shouldn't call it a job system. It's, in Final Fantasy XII, you could have your character set up to act a different way. If this, then this, other things like that. And you can
logic gate your characters.
You can do that in all the characters that are in each party.
What's interesting is that sounds a little more advanced, but it sounds a lot like Ogre Battle.
Yes, that's what I understand it to be like.
Yeah, that's awesome. I loved Ogre Battle.
And so right now I'm about 5 to 6 hours in on it. and they're throwing characters at you like crazy. But considering
they expect them to die,
I don't know. I've had them die, but you get revival stones and stuff. I've never had one die and then finish a fight. I don't know if there's permadeath or not. So I don't know. It seems like no, but either way, it's a beautiful game. The art is great, and I suggest people play it.
All right, cool. Well, we had some time today. We went to a local arcade, and we got to play some games. And the first one we definitely have to talk about.
Oh.
So, this first game is Godzilla Kaiju Wars.
Yes. So, hold on. Before you get into it, before you do, everybody has to know. So, Matt was walking in front of me as we entered the arcade, and the machine is off to the left, and I see him just like stare and just keep walking forward while staring at it. And I knew at that point that I'm not a kaiju guy, really, whatever, so to speak. The big monsters I've never really got into, but I'm like, well, I guess we're playing this one.
Yeah,
that was kind of what my thoughts on it. So, at any rate,
yeah, no, it was just saw it and had to go look at it, and then realized I should probably give this a shot. So, what it is a game very similar to like Time Crisis or the new Halo Fireteam Raven game, where you sit there and you have a gun and you aim at the targets like a mounted turret gun, and you aim at your targets and shoot them. However, the game's in VR.
Yes, it is. It's all in VR.
Yeah, well, I thought it was just VR, but it's actually a little more than VR. So I have glasses. Took my glasses off.
Yep, you have to take your glasses off.
Yep, set them on the display next to my gun.
Yep, I did the same.
So I could put my headset on, and then the game starts, and they start you off in a plane or a flying ship of some kind, and they decided, hey, what'd be really cool? Let's just take this thing for a nosedive. And so you're falling in VR, but what they're also doing is the machine itself is moving and shaking. And the only reason I knew this is because at one point I felt my glasses hit my foot. So I'm like, oh great, my glasses are on the floor, and I'm trying to not have this like seizure or panic attack or whatever, because I tell you what, if you're I think it's agoraphobia. If you're agoraphobic, if you're afraid of heights, steer away from this one, because that was intense. That was an intense drop, and you are flying around the city, and for the most part, it's fast and furious and no Vin Diesel, but there is a lot of shooting and a lot of monsters getting in your face, and it was wild. So you pick one of two kaijus you're going to fight, and you fight them, and then after they come out, after you defeat them, Godzilla shows up. And so you then have to fight off Godzilla.
Yep.
And so we managed to fight off Godzilla. And then the other kaiju that you didn't select shows up and just insta-kills you.
And you only get to play one level. If you want to play the next level, you have to pay again.
Yes. So that's a little lame. But the experience was cool enough that we had to talk about it. And then the next game we went on to was Space Invaders Giga Max, I think is what it's called.
Something like that.
It's like 8-player Space Invaders.
Yeah.
And it ended up just being Monster and I. So it's the two of us trying to cover the entire board.
Yeah, it was really long.
Yeah. And it's intense because like you're play Space Invaders, trying not to blow up, trying to take out the aliens, and then after a certain time, they disappear. And then like the next wave comes in, and like these sparkly rainbow aliens come down, and every time you shoot them, they get bigger. And after like 3 or 4 shots, they blow up. And you have to go through that wave. And then after that is the boss, which the first boss is a giant UFO. Just a huge UFO that you have to sit there and avoid the shots and take it out. And then we get to the next one. At the next level, I run out of lives because I can't dodge the upfront bullets too well. And Monster has to fight the second boss all by himself, and it's a completely different boss.
Yeah, it was pretty tough.
Sounds actually kind of cool. It's not just a regurgitating type game. Yeah. It was actually a little different and fun. And then
we'll play again.
Yeah, definitely.
It's actually a ticket game too.
It is a ticket game. You get tickets for how well you do. And then speaking of ticket games, there was I like to play the token games where you shoot the marbles and they sometimes land in things and stuff happens on in front of you or on a screen in front of you, and then you get more tickets or you get stuff, you get neat things. Well, it's finally happened. We finally got a Konami game over in our arcade that is all about Castlevania and is one of those.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, he's going to play that.
And I did. And I ended up getting... if you've seen these in your local arcades, when you play certain games with the tokens or the marbles, whatever, they'll drop cards, and then you take those cards, you can scan them in for tickets. I like to just collect them because they're kind of cool looking. Well, I got 2 cards from my entire playthrough of the Castlevania games, and I got the Vampire Killer Whip, and I got Richter.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it was a good day. But yeah, so we had a little bit of fun at the arcade today, and now it's time to talk about comments because we got to catch up on comments. So reminder, because there still hasn't been any comments on the last episode. Last episode's questionnaire was about limited time events in games. How do you feel about them?
Mm-hmm.
So, just to make sure we remind you of that one. And then we're going back to the one before that, which was about credits in video games. And how you feel about them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that one dude, loyal answerer of comments or questions. Thank you, that one dude.
Indeed.
Yes. Here's his response about credits. The only time I watch credits in a video game is when they have a mini game to play during them. One of my favorites was Smash Bros. Melee, that was an on-rail shooter where you had to blast all the names in the credits. Yeah, I can agree with that. That can be fun. I think when they make their credits fun in a game, that's worth sitting through. But, which was Nier Automata. That's the one I'm thinking of. Nier Automata, in order to get the true ending of the game, you have to fight the credits. And they're harder than most of the game, which is weird. But that's how Nier Automata is. That's how Nier games are. Nier games are weird if you are not aware. They are some bizarre games, but they're awesome.
So, here's my take on credits. Mm-hmm. I mean, if there's something to do during it, sure. I realize that people want to get credit for the things they make.
Right.
And that's all well and good. But I think the practice of just saying, here's the credits, access them if you want, and you push the button, you watch the credits, is better. Any company that makes you watch the credits and then puts a stinger afterwards, I think that's really just demeaning to the player to a certain degree. And I know players sometimes feel like they're being rewarded for sitting through that, but it's just gated content behind a bunch of names and things that mean nothing to you on an individual basis. I get you guys that the game has been made and it's fantastic. I enjoyed the experience enough to complete the game. I appreciate the people who worked on it. Yeah. But it's like getting hit with a wall of text sometimes, give me the TLDR.
Absolutely.
And, it's not to discount anybody's effort in making anything. It's just, I don't know who these people are. That doesn't really mean anything to me.
Right. And I think the one thing, regarding even stingers and just credits in general, when you're in the movies, I understand why people did stingers. They did them because they wanted you to stay through to see the credits all the way through, and then you get a little reward for more movie. That makes sense in a movie theater, because if you don't want to sit through that and watch the stinger, you just get up and leave the theater. But I'm at home playing a video game in my own house. I shouldn't have to turn off my system or if I want to play the game again, or if I want to do something, if I do want to see what the extra thing is, putting in a credit screen that I can't skip through, that's just unbearable. Yes, if I want to read your credits, give me a credits option at the beginning of the option screen, or sometimes it's even in the main title menu. But either do that or let me speed it up. I love it when developers allow you to play their credits at like 5x. And you just see them flying up the screen. It's fantastic. But when I just have to sit there and stare at words, it's so boring. Like, it totally... It ruins the immersion of the video game.
A bit. And here's the thing. I realize that they use them for other jobs and say, they could say, I worked on X game, Y game, Z game.
And here's my proof.
And here I am in the credits. And that's what the credits are really there for at the end of the day, so that you get credit for what you did. But as a player, I can't connect with a certain individual's name that's on that list. I just can't.
Right.
There's just... Because... It just doesn't work that way.
I mean, I'll watch credits if like I hear a certain voice actor in the game and I think I know who it is and I just need to verify it at the end.
Sure.
I'll do it that way. But otherwise, no. If I really want to know who did what on the game, I'm gonna Google it.
More or less nowadays, yeah.
Yeah. I think credits are just kind of a...
They're necessary. I agree.
They're necessary, but I think they're antiquated in the way they're presented.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our spin on it. Thank you, that one dude, for responding. And again, last question from last time was, how do you guys feel about limited time events in games? And if we don't get answers, we'll just talk about it next time and share our opinions on it. But whatever questions, concerns, you want to answer our questions, you got your own questions, you got comments, you got news stories for us that we haven't addressed, please remember to leave us something in the comment section, because we do read it, we do appreciate it, and we do try to comment on it here on our podcast. Okay. Next thing. Big thing. We got a whole bunch of game shows that we weren't able to meet up and do this together for a while. We have a couple of game shows we need to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like Wheel of Fortune. I'm talking, but bye Pat Sajak, enjoy your retirement. I'm talking State of Play, Xbox Showcase, Summer Games Fest, and the Nintendo Direct. So those are 4 big shows, and that's a lot to cover. So we're really only going to talk about stuff that we find that's new or interesting, I should say.
I mean, there's plenty of games that are on these lists that are probably going to be cool, but these are for the sake of time, we're only talking about the ones that truly either stood out or new, yeah. That
and a lot of them have already been discussed within the past year.
Yeah.
So, which one do you want to start with first? Who should we talk with first?
I'm going to start with the Xbox Showcase.
Let's do Xbox. All right. So, first up, very interesting, very exciting for me, I think, at least.
Yeah. Doom.
Do you feel better now?
Doom.
Doom: The Dark Ages. This game looks awesome. And I don't know if you know this, but people have already modded the chainsaw shield into regular Doom.
Of course. Of course.
I salute you, modders. That's awesome. The game looks so cool. Doom guy looks really cool. And yeah, it's kind of hard to say if this is a prequel, because they're saying it's a prequel. But if you played the last Doom, this could also just be like a sequel, because everything kind of resets,
I want a proper prequel. I want it to look like Wolfenstein 3D.
I want Doom guy to not have his helmet, and we actually see his blonde, ugly mug.
Yeah, we saw his face. His face was the original Doom. That's right.
Yeah. But no, the game...
Doom 3? No, Doom 2. I think Doom 2, it was there too.
Yeah, Doom 2 it was.
Yeah.
Not Doom 3. Doom 3 was the first time you never saw
We haven't seen it since the 90s.
So he's ugly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Dune Dark Ages. It looks exciting, and it's. I believe they already talked about like it's going to be coming out on multi-platform.
Oh yeah. Microsoft's putting it out on everything.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the multi-platform ones. So that's awesome. Looking forward to that one. And yes, to play off of Monster's stupid with his Doom, I am going to go harken back to the 90s and 90s 2000s and reference Invader Zim.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sing the Doom song now. Doomty 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 doomty. Okay.
Invader Zim's great.
Yeah, Gur is great.
Yes, Gur is great.
Gur is great. Anyhow, next game on the list is
Mecha Break.
Mecha Break. Dude, it looks like Armored Core meets like anything like MechWarrior Online, like...
Oh, it's definitely not MechWarrior Online.
I mean, like, in the sense of, like, it looks like it's going to be Army versus Army or Unit versus Unit.
Yeah, it looks like what, honestly, Robotech,
yeah.
Robotech
with
could
all the
have
missile
been.
flying? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's Macross. Let's call it by the right name, Macross.
Oh, no, I'm talking about... I was actually referencing the PS2 game.
Yes,
Robotech, where they actually did all the missiles flying.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it looks awesome. You get to customize your mech. You get to... The mechs transform.
Yep.
There's several different styles of mech. There's melee combat. There's artillery combat. The thing just looks cool. And that scares me.
It looks like it's a PvP game, but who knows? We'll see.
It does. But it scares me because it looks amazing. And it's not coming out anytime soon.
It's going to be forever.
What's going to happen to it? How is it going to fail? How is it going to bomb? That worries me. So, anyhow, next game on the list.
Well, hold on. Before you go on.
Sorry.
Apparently there's a closed beta test coming in August on the Xbox Series X.
On the X.
Yeah.
So I can't do it.
Probably on the S too. Be surprised if it wasn't on the S.
We'll see. Anyhow, next thing that we were interested in from the showcase, actually the last game we were interested in, is... You really want to talk about that one too?
I mean, you want to talk about it, I'm sure.
No, I'm good on that one.
Okay, well, that one was Metal Gear Solid.
Snake Eater. Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. I played Metal Gear Solid 1. I played Metal Gear Solid 2. I played Metal Gear Solid 4. And even though it has nothing to do with the others, I played Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Rising Revengeance is my style of game. The other four are not. I guess.
I've not liked Metal Gear since the word go. So, and I actually gave Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation a good try, too.
Okay, well, I liked Metal Gear for the NES.
Metal Gear for the NES? Oh, we're going to disagree on this one.
Well, maybe because you didn't have to spend a lot of time playing it like I did.
I
had to spend a lot of time. It was like the family time game. So.
Okay, well, you guys like torture then. Anyway,
Anyways, the last game on the list is Age of Mythology Retold.
Yes.
This one's up Monster's alley.
Yeah, I really like Age of Empires, and Age of Mythology is in that vein. The original was good. And
I think it's the same, is it the same company? Yeah.
And I think this synergy and what you could do with the three pantheons that you can play, I think it's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Weren't there four?
I think there's just three.
Norse.
There was definitely three.
There was Norse, Greek, Egyptian, and Atlantean, they said.
Well, I think Atlantean kind of gets lumped in with it, but either way, it's been a while since I played it. Way back in 2002. I haven't played it since 2003-ish, so
yeah.
My memory's probably a little hazy, but I do want to play this one. And September 4th is going to be really cool.
All right. Well, those are the three games we were really interested in. All the other ones we've already talked about before. or that we've been interested in. Otherwise, it was like, yeah, we're not going to talk about it.
One last thing from that event too, which I think there's the Xbox Series X All Digital Edition, and
wasn't that supposed to be the Series S? Wasn't that supposed to be the dull digital version?
Now they're just packaging the more powerful hardware in a digital-only platform, and I'm just not a fan. I honestly, I'm a proponent for physical games. I think for $50 more, paying, since it's $50, it's $450 for this. I think the extra $50 is worth it to get the disc drive, because if you want to, you can find a lot of those games physically for a lot cheaper, and you'll save money on that $50 over time, and personally speaking. So
I personally have no horse in that race, so
I know, because you have a Series S.
Yeah, I'm happy with what I got. So
yeah, the next one we're going to talk about is the Sony State of Play.
And really, there's only two things we cared about that we haven't already talked about before. So first one, Astrobot.
Yeah, Astrobot looks amazing.
If you have a PS5, you've played the game, the Astrobot game that came with the system.
Yeah, Astro's Playroom. If you have not,
what are you doing?
Yeah, stop listening to us. Go play the game.
No, keep listening to us while playing the game. Where are your priorities, man? Anyways, that game is fantastic. They're now making a full-blown PS5 game. And it looks like they're bringing bosses back from the other Astro Boy game for the VR. Because I think the Gorillas won from the VR game. But it looks great. It looks awesome. It looks fun.
Yeah, it really does.
That's the big thing. It looks fun.
Yeah,
I'm hyped for that one. So that one comes out in September, too.
Yeah,
September's gonna be a fun time.
I'm usually not into platformers much anymore, but Astrobot in that Astro's Playroom was just awesome.
Yeah,
I loved it.
He looks like he gets a whole bunch of different powers, different events constantly happening. It looks like it's gonna be a good time.
The sad thing is, after all these years, Sony has a mascot that they can get behind. This is what their mascot should be.
Yeah, no, they absolutely should be using Astro as their mascot.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll get the hint and start using him in stuff more often.
Yeah, he should be front and center. He's got the charm is there. Everything you need.
Absolutely.
Everything you need.
All right, the next game.
And a surprise to absolute.
Yeah, it's Monster Hunter.
Jeez.
Okay, before we get into the stuff that we think is cool, let me talk to you about the thing I don't think is cool. That Palico should not be talking.
Get used to it.
That Palico should not be talking. And honestly, I didn't like the way the lip synced with the way people were talking. Yeah, it was a little I don't even want to say uncanny valley. It just felt off.
Yeah, they'll probably fix that up before it releases.
Yeah. But okay, stuff that was cool. Everything else.
Yeah.
Everything else looked awesome. It looks like you're going to get back into the boats and cross the sand, and you're going to be fighting in the sand like you did in, which one had the giant dragon in the
3.
sand? Was that 3?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
On the Game Boy.
We've done so many of them, I forget which one it was.
On the 3DS. It was Monster Hunter 3 on the 3DS.
Was it? Or was it Try also?
Try is 3.
Okay, but I thought Try was a little different. Anyhow.
Yeah, you get to go swimming in that one, but it also had that.
Anyhow, we're digressing. It looks cool. The monsters actually look pretty good. I actually like the one that they kind of like give you just a glimpse of, the lightning one. That dude looked intense. But the one thing that was really cool, and I've had to kind of argue with people about this, it looks like, even if it's only on mount, you get to switch weapons.
Yeah. Yippee do.
Because you see the character fighting with a greatsword at one moment, and then immediately switching and pulling out their heavy bowgun and are firing it off of their mount. Which, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So it looks awesome. We'll see what really comes out though.
It looks awesome, and
Looks awesome.
Way,
asterisk.
Way better. At least it promises to me to be better than Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh,
I think Rise is a good game, but I liked World a lot better.
Well, Wilds is the World team.
Yeah, and that's why I'm excited about this.
Yeah. So we'll see. Keep your eyes and ears peeled on that one. That's going to be fun.
Okay. And then there is the latest one, Nintendo.
Well, yeah. We also... There was some stuff from Summer Games Fest. I've already talked about a couple things from that. But most of what we're going to talk about now is pretty much from Nintendo Direct. But there's some stuff that's just not Nintendo specific. And Monster says it's an okay thing, but it still irks me that these, like, oh, this is the PlayStation or the Xbox or the Nintendo showcase, and we're going to show you this game, and we're not going to tell you that it's out for everything else.
Yeah, like, it's their showcase.
I know. Then they shouldn't have put it in their showcase. They should put their exclusives in their showcases. Anyhow.
Listen, I don't purport to know how these things are put together.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, okay. Folks, everybody in the audience, I personally put together all these showcases, okay? I did it in my mind while sleeping.
So please, fill up the comment box with all your hate and spam and direct it all towards Monster, please.
Next time, I'll make sure it's even more disappointing.
You're always disappointing. Anyhow. So the biggest star of the Nintendo Direct was Metroid Prime 4. And it was really kind of exciting because people were expecting that to now get pushed back to the Switch 2, which it still may because they still haven't announced anything else. But from what I saw of Metroid Prime, because I watched the whole trailer, it looked really good. It looks like it's going to be an interesting game, and it looks like Samus isn't the only one fighting the space pirates this time. So it's going to be an interesting story, I think. Really not much more to say about it other than it looks good. I'm excited for it.
Okay.
The next one that I thought was probably the biggest one of the whole event, really, was Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. People are actually saying that this might be a sequel to Link to the Past.
It could be.
It could be. But it's got the art style from Link's Awakening.
The remake.
The remake, yes. But in this one, you play as Zelda, actually. Link disappears.
It's about time.
Yeah, Link goes on vacation.
It's been the biggest misnomer of a name I've ever seen in my life. It's never been the Legend of Zelda. It's been the Legend of Link, really.
No, because it's always about Zelda. Everything he's doing is about Zelda.
But it's his legend. He's the one creating it. He's going to save her and things like that.
Yeah, but it's all her legend because it's all about her. Everything's always about the princess. Ugh. Anyways, this time around, people did say this one should be called The Legend of Link because now the roles have reversed. But you play as Zelda, and you don't fight monsters outright. You learn to copy specific items throughout the world, including enemies, and you use those to attack the monsters of Hyrule. It looks good. It looks fun, and I'm going to have fun playing it. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to play it immediately when it comes out, but I am going to play it. Next up is the Mario and Luigi Brothership coming to Switch. This is another Mario and Luigi RPG. If you've never played those, they're actually kind of cute. It's Mario and Luigi. It's a little more comedic, oddly enough, than the actual main games. And yeah, it looks pretty. It looks pretty. And there's platforming.
There is platforming, and I saw that too. We'll see. I mean, it looks like they're always losing their hats, though.
Yeah, that's just a common thing with them now. They have hair, and they got to shout off.
I mean, at least they're not going bald, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Next game.
They are, technically speaking, they should be at least in their 40s if you.
You mean their 50s, I think, by this point.
So the fact that they still have, I'm jealous. They have hair still.
Yeah, I know, right? So the one big thing that I took away from the Direct is there's just a ton of remakes and a ton of like expansions and things that are coming out. The only one that I really wanted to touch on, because I'm like, this is actually pretty darn cool, is the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. If you've seen it, and I'm sure a lot of people got to see it on the Direct, but if you missed it, you are get to play Dragon Quest III, but the graphics, it looks like it's done by the team who did Octopath Traveler. And if you've seen the Octopath Traveler games, even Triangle Strategy, you know those games look gorgeous. They do have a lot of 2.5, a lot of 3D elements hidden throughout the game, but still keeping it 2D. Oh, it's so good. And I saw the trailer and I was like, this is very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Square Enix is basically the creators of that art style to a large degree. This
absolutely.
HD 2D, look.
Yeah.
And they're bringing it to more of their games. Like, I would expect more of this going into the future from their old school games. Yeah.
No, so it's pretty awesome. I'm kind of happy to see that. All right, next game. Next game is a lot of games.
Yeah.
It is something we are both very hyped about.
Yeah, the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. As someone who does play fighting games...
Well, it's Marvel!
It's Marvel, baby.
When's Marvel?
Yeah, when's Marvel?
When's Marvel? So 7 classic Capcom games are coming to Switch in a pack. And I'm excited because it is some of the best Capcom fighting games.
Yeah.
You got X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, and then they wrapped it up by giving you the Punisher.
It was just a throw-in.
It's just a throw-in, it really was. The Punisher is a brawler, a beat-em-up, that is only 2 players, and it's literally, you get to play as either the Punisher or Nick Fury. And you run around and punch people, and then you get guns and you shoot people. The arcade game is way better. Because the arcade game actually had 4 characters, and there was a lot of 2D like platforming, and it was really well done. But anyways.
But a lot of people are excited about this in the fighting game community because they want Marvel vs. Capcom 4.
Yeah, well, isn't Infinite technically 4?
I guess it is, but Infinite was a dud.
Infinite was
doo-doo. Yeah, and technically speaking, it's a really good fighting game from a technical standpoint. But they had done the 3v3 in Marvel vs. Capcom for long enough that's what people expected. And when they delivered only 2v2 fighting, it soured a lot of people's tastes. Oh, and the graphics that were in the game when it was initially shown off
were garbage.
They were terrible.
Yeah, they're bad. And the storyline kind of sucked.
Yeah.
It was like they were trying to incorporate Marvel vs. Capcom into like a Smash Brothers style storyline. It was like, ugh.
Yeah, but people are hoping for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They think the fact that this is releasing...
Maybe 5 at this point. But...
Whatever. They're hoping for a new one. It's before, I think. But the fact that this is even coming out means there had to be some sort of agreement between Disney and Capcom for this to even come out.
They had to prove that this was worth their time.
Yeah.
So, buy this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be worth your time.
The games are great. The games are fantastic.
Yeah.
The games on there are totally awesome.
And Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I'd be interested to see if they rebalance it at all, because that is a famously unbalanced game. Like, really unbalanced.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what they do. The last one that I think is really, really interesting
is already out.
Is already out, yeah. And I'm going to go buy it after we get done recording here. Metal Slug Attack Reloaded, a tower defense game.
Where you get the unit... Every single unit that has appeared in a Metal Slug game is like a character you can unlock. And it's a tower defense.
Yeah, it looks
You just
really
send them
cool.
wave after
after wave.
You Zap Brannigan these guys and just send them and just see what happens.
I sent wave after wave of my own men.
Yeah.
It's like that other speech. A lot of you are going to die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yeah, from Shrek.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's great. But so real quick, that's pretty much all we were interested in from Nintendo Direct. Again, most of it was either games that are already out or remakes of stuff that, yeah. Summer Games Fest. Kind of the big thing we need to talk about. There's one really big thing, and I say big because it's only big for Monster. Shall we talk about Street Fighter 6?
Ah, yes. I was wondering if we had talked about this on.
No, you were not available for that.
Ah, okay.
Yes, that's why I haven't talked about it yet.
Okay, so I like Street Fighter 6. I really do. I have considered grinding that game for a little while. And I will be grinding it because they decided to say, you know what, Monster Punter, we want you to play our game. We want you to play it more. We want you to play our game. We're going to put not only the best fighting game character ever created into our game, it's also your favorite one. And no, I'm not biased. He is objectively the best, darn it. Terry Bogard is going to be in Street Fighter 6.
I thought you were trying to allude that Mai was a guy. That was,
No. I'm happy Mai's going to be in there, but I really want to play Terry.
I'm actually happy Elena's in there because it's like, cool, characters from Street Fighter 3 still exist.
Yeah.
It's like they don't ignore that part of the universe anymore. So that's kind of cool.
And hot take, Street Fighter 3 is overrated. Anyway.
But also the fact that M. Bison is finally showing up.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they play that off. Somebody's telling me they thought it was a clone, or it's somebody else claiming the title.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I think it's actually him. It's just, it's gonna be. We'll see.
But Terry, I can't wait for Terry to be in there. It's gonna be awesome. The only thing that I'm really curious how they're going to balance the game, considering how SNK fighters typically play compared to Capcom ones. And I know we can look at Capcom versus SNK 2 for an idea on how that would be. Because in the SNK games, you have hopping and you have running. And those are two like essential core mechanics. You can hop. There's 4 types of jumping in SNK fighting games. You have hop, hyper hop, jump, hyper jump. And in Street Fighter, you just have jump. There's no hopping. So,
they did it with Capcom versus SNK, and versus SNK 2. They addressed that. They give them hyper jump in that. So it's possible.
It's possible. We'll see. I think it's going to affect Mai's gameplay much more than Terry. I think Terry, I wouldn't call Terry a Shoto, but he's Shoto-ish in some ways.
Yeah.
Shoto meaning, for those who don't know what that term is in the fighting game community, it means a Ryu/Ken kind of character where they have a fireball, they have a kick, they have an uppercut, things like that.
They're basic.
They've done some things to differentiate.
I know, but saying it just makes you annoyed. So, honestly, a lot of the stuff that we want to talk about for Summer Games Fest, we already kind of addressed, like Monster Hunter Wilds, Mecha Break, kind of the big ones. But I wanted everyone to hear Monster's opinion about the Street Fighter 6 update. Told you about my Alan Wake 2 excitement. I'm looking forward to playing Night Springs. I got to play through the Alan Wake 2 first, though. So that's going to be a good time. Before we go, because we are wrapping up on time, I have an announcement. So I've been playing another game, and I have not talked about it yet. This game came out less than a year ago. This game is called Gravity Circuit. This game is like Mega Man meets Kung Fu. It is, well, I could tell you how good it is or not good it is, but I think I'd rather just show you. So I'm letting you know, and I'm going to put a card in here so you guys can click on the link if you want. I've gone ahead and started up the series, doing a playthrough on my main channel, Matt Finish. That's right, baby. I'm making videos again. Time has been a little kinder, and I'm trying to take advantage of it. So
there you go.
So I'm going to try to get one out every week. try to keep an eye out for it. For those of you who don't already subscribe to my channel, for those of you who do, you probably already watched it, and it's been awesome. Like I've already looked. It's already gotten so many views so quickly. I'm very excited. I think people are really going to enjoy this one. I can't say much more. I can't say much more. I want to say more, but I'm not going to. Please go check out that playthrough. But that's it. That's our opinion on what we've seen so far. If you guys want to share your opinions with us, we really do want to hear them. Tell us in the comments down below what you thought about the games we talked about, or if there was a game that we didn't talk about that you're excited about. Tell us in the comments down below. We do want to hear from you. With that said, we appreciate you all so very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for those of you who are actually watching the little spaceships fly through space. Thank you for watching them. They are diligently going. They haven't run out of fuel yet. But with that, thank you again. Hope you have yourselves a fantastic week. Hope you play some awesome games. And we'll see you in the next one.
Take care.
Later.